Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Talk Openly. I'm Jac. I'm with my wonderful friend Daniel.
Howdy.
Howdy, howdy. We've been away for a couple weeks, and so it's really good to be back. I think right now we've got a schedule laid out where I don't think we've got anything coming up where we have some Tuesdays off. It happens sometimes, but as of right now, we don't have any plans for that. So we'll get back
Now,
on our weekly
smooth sailing from here on out.
sailing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, tonight we're going to be talking about meditation and talking about different scopes of practice on how you approach your meditation, and your life, really, life and training. That's going to be good. I think I always have to kind of check back in on that. Usually I'm kind of in a lower scope, which is fine, but I'm aiming for higher bodhicitta scope. So we'll talk about it. Looking
We
forward.
are we are definitely going to talk about it. Ain't no
Yeah,
doubt about it. Mhm.
sweet. Yeah, I know you went to meditation on Sunday with Lama, and maybe he gave some instruction on this, yeah?
He did. That was what inspired it. He gave instruction that I got to ex put into practice and experience some results right away. And I thought that was really cool. One thing I wanted to say is, like I left for the Dharma Center on Sunday, and I remembered that I had set my intention to bring my notebook with me so that I could actually take notes and not just like listen. Because
Yeah.
like I'll get absorbed and I am soaking stuff in, but it's not the same, right? It doesn't get locked in as much as if I take notes, and I oftentimes fail to bring my notebook. So I set my intention, and then I headed off to the Dharma Center and got about halfway there and realized I didn't have my notebook. Then I
Oh,
was like, it's okay. It's fine. And I was like, no, I set an intention to do this. I have the time, I have the ability. I flipped the car around, drove back home, got my notebook, and I'm so glad I did because I had it with me in the meditation group and was able to jot down what I thought were some important comments made by Lama
nice.
during the meditation and during the talk. But the meditation, I got a full page of notes. The talk, I got like three or four sentences because I was like just absorbed in it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Cool. I'm looking forward to hearing. I the Lions Roar Zoom has not been up, so I haven't been able to attend any Sunday talks. So
Ah,
I haven't been able to receive any of those teachings, which yeah, it's been kind of
you're
challenging.
missing it, huh?
Yeah.
I would be. That sucks. It's been what, almost 4 or 5 weeks now?
Yeah, maybe
Maybe
even
even
more.
longer.
I think it's been
Yeah.
longer. Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Um But yeah, it's just where it's at. It's
it
it's
is.
it's the karma of my of this time right now.
Yeah, yeah.
No
So it
kidding.
is. So
Yeah,
it is.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad that you'll be able to share a little bit with me about those teachings, and maybe I can absorb some of it as well.
No doubt about it. I'm sure it's all stuff that you already know, but you know how it is. Yeah, I remember one time I was like, Lama, I think that it seems to me like so much of practice is just remembering. And he was like, yeah, it's actually almost all of it.
Yeah,
You just got to keep remembering what is it that you're remembering? Well, I think intention, what it is that you came here to do, what you're trying to accomplish.
right, right. Well, I think that's I've noticed that in particular with meditation practices like shamatha, where if I'm not consistently like reviewing just the very basics, right? From calming the mind, Lam Rinpa, there's a reason my Lama told us to read it 10 times. And that's because like it's really important to have it just right there when you're meditating.
Right.
So yeah, that kind of repetition, remembering really comes through that like the diligence and discipline of that kind of daily study. So
Yeah,
yeah,
without a
nice
doubt, without a
reminder.
doubt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you. Well, before we jump into all of that, I want to hear a little bit about how you're doing and your last couple weeks and yeah,
Yeah.
where your training's at.
Yeah, well, I'm stoked because I feel really good that my meditation practice, which had begun to get really irregular, and I was having a hard time with it. It's been settling back into a nice, consistent routine, and that feels so good to me. Just like, oh, right. Like
Mm.
not hiccuping, nothing, just settling in, doing it, making the time for it, carving out the space and not allowing any kind of sort of like I'm busy with something else, to come in. And part of that actually came about it was fun. Not fun, it was interesting. I went to Darshan with Lama and I was just telling him, I was like, man, I'm crippled by the three types of laziness, like all of them, like just
Mm.
completely and utterly. And he told me something that, because I told him, when I first showed up, I said, hey, I was like, I don't think I've ever told you this before. I was like, but I need a little ass kicking. And I was like, I said, you rarely do it, I was like, I haven't, I've never noticed an ass kicking myself, but I could use one right now.
Yeah.
And he was like, okay. And he was like, well, ass kicking is really only reserved for like one instance, really, one particular sort of dynamic, usually that it shows
Mm.
up in. And anyway, so, so as we talk, he's like, he did not do what I asked him to do. He instead was very, very, very gentle, and he said, probably the problem is that you're not actually feeling your laziness.
Hmm.
And he's like, you're recognizing it. He goes, but like, feel it. Like, really feel the weight of it, feel the resistance. Like, really, like, be present with that laziness as much as you can, right? Like, feel
Mm.
it in your body, feel the thoughts, feel the whole thing, right? And be very aware of that laziness and see how it goes, which, of course, was wise instructions.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because then I'm like, well, let me try that. And then, of course, my now I'm meditating on it, and all of a sudden I'm, back into a good groove. So, uh,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm really happy about that, and I was pleased to have some minor, uh, like just putting his teachings into practice and seeing some immediate results, which I think is cool. One of the things that, at one point I was telling him I don't know what I was complaining about. But I was like, yeah, whatever. Whatever. People want more out of me, and I can't quite tell what it is. I don't know what it is that they're after. And he was like, they want it, they want you at greater capacity, essentially. Like you need to increase your capacity. And of course, I know that our practice does that by as part of its sort of side effect, right? Is increasing our capacity. But it's been fun to watch that, to see how my capacity is related to my practice and how little capacity I have even for just regular, ordinary life when I'm not practicing regularly. And how
Yeah.
as soon as I begin to practice regularly again, my capacity for all kinds of stuff opens up. And it was perfect timing because there's been a ton of administrative stuff, both at Lion's Roar and I work with the Nari Institute Foundation, and both of them have a ton of administrative stuff that came in like all of a sudden, like, and it needed prompt attention, and it needed it like within hours, And I was able, like, it was really nice to be able to see how it didn't stress me out or anything. I was able to do it, come up with some creative solutions or whatever, and make it happen. And I know for a fact that is directly related to my practice, right? It was undeniable, right? That
Yeah.
this capacity for handling all kinds of just mundane stuff and, greater sort of practice levels and also more, community involvement and stuff. Just so wonderful. And
Mhm.
so like I'm tickled, and I'm like, it's inspiring to me because I'm like, just the taste of it again, right? Of this, like, of the goodness. I'm like, oh, right. Why in the world would I ever slow down on this?
Yeah. Right.
Uh,
Right. It's a bit of that like that kind of supreme power, right, that a Buddha has. It's like we just get
the taste,
just a little taste of it where it's like, oh wow, this can you imagine that much energy
right?
and like
Oh,
attention and effort being able to put just like so much larger scale.
You know, Jack, I'm actually like I was literally like I was impressed with myself,
Nice.
you know? And then I was like, wow, exactly what you said. Like, can you imagine like this is just like a little like a little small breeze compared to the hurricane of energy that's possible, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, just got to learn how to
Absolutely.
harness it a little bit at a time.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So it's been super, super good. I'm so happy. Like, couldn't be better.
So glad to hear it. Yeah. Yeah. And to hear that you've been in kind of all areas of your life expanding your capacity. It's great.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It is great.
Yeah.
I agree, and I suspect that that this pattern will likely not. This is not going to be the first or the only last instance of this pattern of kind of going away and coming back and going away and coming back. I think that that's going to be something that wobbling that Lama oftentimes talks about, the way that when we're walking the path, like it's natural because we're like bipedal that we
Yeah.
kind of lean a little bit this way, then a little bit that way, then a little bit this way, and a little bit that way. But ultimately,
Right.
we have some balance in all of that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's a great it's just a great visual and it's helpful because it takes out like the judgment
Oh yeah.
around it where it's like, well, this is just
Yeah.
kind of like a natural rhythm.
Yeah.
Um yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind, kind of like if you imagine the climb up, to Everest or something like that. There's going to be different things that are happening along the way. At some point you're in some treacherous ice fields and you're not even hiking up. You're just trying to get across, right? You're just trying to survive a basic walk going flat, right? And so the challenges and the circumstances, of course, are going to change along the way, and we have to adapt to all of that.
Yeah. Yeah. Good stuff.
It
Yeah,
is, it
glad to hear it.
is. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
happy to share it too.
Yeah.
Tell
Inspiring.
tell me please about you.
I am busy. I'm also busy. Um, yeah, also feel like there's a lot being asked of me right now, but I'm up for it. Whereas a couple months ago, I was so drained, like I couldn't imagine, doing anything outside of work hours or on the weekend. I just wanted to rest. Which, wintertime is just
Yeah.
it's hard on me. I'm noticing, especially up here, it gets dark so fast and it's just really long, long nights. Um, but yeah, I'm feeling a little bit of the return of the sun, in my energy.
It feels good, huh?
Feels good.
Oh, so good.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, and I'm being asked a lot at work because of, I'm going to a new job and so having to close out everyone that I'm meeting with. And that's a lot of
Oof.
kind of complicated effort, right? Because some people are upset, some are mad, some are fine, like it's
Yeah.
complicated.
Yeah.
And so it's been a really good practice of like, how do I stay centered regardless of, what someone's response is? And how do I stay compassionate, right? Rather than defensive. Like I don't need
Yeah.
to explain why I'm doing it or, it's just part of life. Um, and so that's been a good practice. Um, I'm also doing some like community organizing stuff, some activism work, and that's been an interesting kind of energy to have again because I was not doing that for several years.
Hmm.
But it feels like a right time to be doing it.
Yeah.
And for that, I'm really seeing where I personally can start bringing in, like rather than just this, what used to be a very kind of aggressive and, like, um, I don't know, just like unhappy approach, like still being very assertive and knowing what I want, knowing that, we want like with this kind of effort as we want to abolish ICE. This is kind of the idea. That's still a very assertive demand, right? But can I do it in a way where I'm not hating anybody,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And that really it's because I genuinely want liberation, right? For all beings. And um so I can see that like being able to be woven in more, and it's for me it's not about telling other people how to do it, but just me being able to do that and have that approach myself.
Yeah, you expressing your own truth,
Right.
expressing,
Right.
you being you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that's felt good and has, brought a lot of like energy into my life. Sometimes I have to work on the anxiety around it, but
Yeah.
and then I'm also with Lama, and I'm working out a potential class that I'm going to be hosting at the local Unitarian Universalist church on, Buddhist self-transformation for liberation. And so that feels really exciting. That probably won't start until like the fall.
And
So
it's an
that
ongoing class. It's gonna, I mean, it's a recurring
So
class.
it's kind of, we're kind of testing the waters. So we might start with just like, you know, like a month or two of like class or kind of,
Yeah.
group, and then seeing if people want to continue ongoing.
Dude, that's
It
phenomenal.
feels
That's
really
really
good.
cool.
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
yeah. How do you let people know that it's there?
So that's that we'll probably figure that out later on. But
Yeah.
the Unitarian Universalist Church is really cool. I don't know if you have any experience with
Sure, I
them,
do. Yeah.
but really, really kind, good people, very just like social justice
Yeah.
oriented.
Yeah.
And a lot of people who are interested in Buddhism and meditation.
Right.
And so I think it's kind of like the place is ripe for that kind of thing. And so I'm looking forward to it. And really, I'm always kind of imagining like the long-term vision is that, I'd love to be able to get, younger people interested in Buddhism. Um, and the community around here is very much interested in activism. And so it's kind of like these ways to
Yeah.
bridge a little bit. Um, so
It's
it's
so cool
exciting.
that you get to work on this project with Llama, right? Because, you have this energy, this activism energy that's defined, who you are from, well, not defined you, but, has been a big
Yeah,
part of your makeup
certainly.
for a long, long time. And it's so wonderful to see you like bring it in, not just as a form of like practice, but actually offering it to other people, right?
Yeah.
Talking about it. I so badly wish that you could have been there on Sunday because
Yeah.
the talk was very much it was the most sort of like direct semi-political that
Yeah.
I've heard there in a while. It was all about
Wow.
engaged Buddhism, right? And the conversation, Lama kept his comments actually rather short. He talked for a bit and then he opened it up because a lot of people had a lot to say.
Yes.
And oh my gosh, is there? I mean, he literally, it was like he just like he must have known, right? Like he just
Yeah.
walked
Oh
in
yeah.
and like he could just like he just like you could just see him like kind of sense the pressure and he just like tapped it and
Yep.
like you could feel it like release as people shared their own difficulties, their own worries, their own
Yeah.
like limitations. And
Right.
what I love about it is something that has arisen in our conversations, is that this question of engaged Buddhism and what activism might look like for you, right? Because if we're gonna emulate, our original teacher, right? Like he was forceful, right? Buddha was quite forceful in terms of opposing societal norms and structures of the time, right? And Lama talked about
Mm-hmm.
that for a bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
That
Mm-hmm.
he was definitely not a, sit on his ass
Yeah.
and watch the world go by kind of guy, right? Like
Right.
he didn't shy away from speaking truth to power,
Yeah.
right? And so, but what I love about it is that when I was listening to everybody talk on Sunday, I could see it's a deeply personal thing.
Yeah.
Yes, we want to be engaged Buddhists. Yes, we want to be, active in our communities. But what that looks like is going to be completely unique to
Yeah.
you, right? It's
Right. Right.
maybe you go to rallies,
It
maybe
has
you're
to be. Yeah.
political, maybe you're just supporting your friends, who
Right.
knows? But that's a personal decision that only you
Yeah.
can come to.
Well, and you can see it happening all across the country,
Yes,
but
you
like
can.
these kind of
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
self-organized communities, right? Where it's like we just want to support our neighbors, and the way people are coming together is so incredible. And especially in Minneapolis, you're seeing
Yeah.
so many different ways, like
Right.
businesses, organizing, like mutual aid, sharing, donations and all these things, and people, knitting each other hats and
Right.
handing out hand
Yes.
warmers
Yes.
and free food and all this stuff.
Ah,
And of course, the direct action of trying to interrupt a deportation, right? And
yeah.
so all of these things, these are all like not everybody can do that really high risk thing of getting in
No.
there, right? We don't
No.
want everyone to do that, but
No. Some of
there's
the
so
elderly
many.
people in our Sangha were bringing that. They were like, I used to be, but I
Yeah,
can't anymore.
and
Like,
that's okay. That's
right?
okay. We need everybody doing
Yeah.
anything, right?
Right. Yeah.
And so, oh, my heart just like swells when I think of that. I really wish I could have been there. I think,
Yeah, and I'm going to blow your mind.
yeah.
Okay, so a piece of crazy wisdom from
Uh,
our dear teacher. You know what he said? One of the things that stood out to me as far as what he was talking about in terms of solutions and how to get more engagement and how to get more community action. He said, we need more parties.
we need more parties.
We need more parties. People need to get together
Yes.
for good times,
Yes.
see each other, make
Yes.
eye contact, warm hand to warm hand, right?
Yes.
And through that, just through the parties,
Yeah.
the good stuff will come out of it.
Exactly. Yeah. Organize a block party,
That's
right?
right. That's
Meet
right.
with your neighbors. Talk
Yeah.
about ways that you can keep each other safe.
Yeah.
All these things. Yes, I
Get
love
to
it.
well, the other thing is get to know each other because
Get to know each other.
one thing
Yeah.
that we know based upon historical precedents is that when we begin to fear our neighbors because we don't know them and we don't trust them and we feel alienated from them,
Yep.
right, which is modern society, we don't know
Yes.
each other, right? We're not connected with each other. And so, that breeds suspicion and all kinds of, problems. Whereas if you get together and you party with your neighbors, you might not see eye to eye on everything, but
Yeah.
you can trust each other a little bit more. You know each other a little bit more. There's a warm connection there.
Yeah. Oh, it's so
Isn't that a
good.
cool thing? I'm like, dude, llama, man, like
Uh,
only you are like, yeah, so what we really need is more parties. I mean, that wasn't the only thing. Don't get me
yeah.
wrong.
But I think that's so right. And trying to do that too in different spaces that I'm in is like, okay, in addition to doing the hard work, like let's also just hang out. Like
Yeah.
let's get together. Let's,
Yeah.
go watch a movie together or something. It doesn't have to just be the hard stuff all the time.
No, not at all. In fact, that's you brought up a good point. I wanted to say that one of the things that's brought a lot of joy into my life recently, our friend Jessica Meyer from the Sangha, she
Yeah.
is creating a new dance program, right?
Oh,
So she
hell
had given
yeah.
a talk on dance, on contemplative dance, and then we did some practice with it, which was amazing. And I've gotten like really into it. I'm like, oh, this is amazing. This is such good practice, right? It's
Yes.
fantastic. And then on Sunday. Lama was like, "Oh, hey, how about today? Like after the potluck, let's do some dancing or whatever." So,
Yeah.
in fact, it was the fun, like most fun. We had a little potluck after the talk, and then we hung out, got some music going. We were just dancing in the dojo, right? And it was so
Oh,
wonderful. It was the kind of thing where you're like, right, you don't have to sit and be talking to each other or,
yeah.
engaged in some kind of formal thing. You can literally just be dancing, and that will bridge connection, right?
Yeah. Oh, beautiful. I feel so good. Thank you for
And,
sharing that.
and
Yeah.
I have one other thing to share from Sunday.
Yeah.
Okay. So one of our regular listeners, Betty, was there and said that she really, really, really appreciated the show and that it's helpful when she's doing yoga.
Nice.
So
Wow.
Betty, if you happen to be listening right now, I hope you're really enjoying your yoga stretches, and
Oh,
listening to us as we yammer on about whatever we're talking about.
that's really sweet. I super admire that. And I don't know if I'd imagine myself to be a calming voice during yoga, but I'm glad that you at least enjoy it.
Well, you know, one of the things that I thought, one of the things that came up in the conversation is like, one of the things that's nice about this show is that it's not important.
Yeah.
You don't think that you're gonna come in and you're gonna get some kind of high teaching. You don't have to
Right.
take notes. If you miss something, it's okay. No big deal, right? Don't worry. It's
Yeah.
just some background noise. Maybe there'll be something supportive or healing or helpful in all of that. But otherwise, you're just hanging out with some friends,
Yeah.
just like us,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Well, friend, should we do some Lojong? You want to do some
Yeah, let's
Lojong
do
with me?
it. Let's do it.
Neat.
I got the random Lojong slogan start page up. I'm going to share my screen and push the big orange button.
Heck yeah.
Hmm.
Oh, so good. Always this one. 21. Always have the support of a joyful mind. So Choyam Trungpa writes, the point of this slogan is continuously to maintain joyful satisfaction. That means that every mishap is good because it is encouragement for you to practice the Dharma. Other people's mishaps are good also. You should share them and bring them into yourself as the continuity of their practice or discipline. So you should include that also. It is very nice to feel that way, actually. I love Trungpa Rinpoche. You know, such a nice way of putting things, right? Where it's like, oh yeah, it is really nice to feel that way, to bring in, someone thinking about someone else and their training, their practice. Um, yeah, yeah, lovely.
I love the second part there about other people's mishaps are good for you also. One thing that I have not noticed before when this one has come up is the way it says you should share them and bring them into yourself as the continuity of their practice or discipline. Like you're picking up from them, right? Like you're just like baton or something.
Yeah, we're part of it.
We're apart, right? Not seeing it as like
Yeah,
I'm doing this and they're over there. No. When there
yeah,
are mishaps, they are our mishaps. And
right. Oh, very cool.
I do really like the fact that what he says is not lost on me about it feeling good,
Yeah,
actually. It
yeah,
is when we think of mishaps, it we don't usually think about it bringing joy. We don't usually think about it making us feel good. Normally, there's like judgment or something associated with it that's negative. But if we can bring it in, into our practice and work with it and see it like the way that he's talking about it here, the feeling is one that is joyful. It actually feels good. So
yeah,
it's really, really weird to
yeah,
have a good feeling related to a mishap.
yep, definitely. Yeah. Oh, and it just makes me love humans more, right? Which is the whole point.
Boy, that's it.
Okay, Bodhisattva of compassion, Avalokiteshvara, looks like carved in ivory, and standing, and with this wonderful lotus, um, and maybe a vajra, right? And then
Really.
look at this little, there's some
Mhm. Yeah.
creature down below, or another human.
It looks like a
Very
human with
cool.
a vessel of some sort who is prostrating before them. I can't.
Yeah.
Huh.
Wow,
Yeah.
cool. I like it. Can you imagine being like having that scale, like having a Buddha that big in front of you? It's like, wow. Wouldn't you just feel like totally okay?
Yeah. Have you ever seen that meme, where there's like a little tiny cute little figure who's like kind of like it's like I can't quite remember what the image is of, but and then there's like a giant knight with a shield protecting the little guy with all of the arrows. I don't, do you know the image I'm talking about?
Not sure, but it sounds
Oh,
yeah.
but it's like the same kind of feeling where you're like, oh, I've got a big protector with
Oh
me.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
I'm
like it.
okay. I'm not gonna get hurt.
Okay. Nice. We need that sometimes.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
Yeah. Good. Okay, well, let's jump right in talking
Let's do it.
about intention and scope of practice. Um, and I know you, as we were saying earlier, you went to meditation on Sunday, and Lama was really discussing this, being mindful of, what aspect of the path are we practicing from? Um, and I'm really curious to hear a little more detail of what y'all went into, um, if you don't mind.
Yeah, well, I mean, as described. First, he was talking about intention before he got into the scope, right? And he was just saying, if you don't know why you're doing it, it's the possibility, like if we aren't honest about what we're up to and what we're trying to do, that eventually that lack of honesty or transparency around our motivation will actually corrode our practice. And I found that really, really interesting.
Interesting.
I think that I've experienced that myself, so it resonated with me. I was like, oh, right, because this whole setting intention, it's weird, right? Because one of the things that I've noticed with myself and why this thing kind of stood out to me was because um, I have for quite a long time, even though I know this information, I just was reminded of it because for a long time I've just gotten into meditation with sort of like an assumption of what I'm
Mm.
up to, right? Rather like I'm like, of course, I am meditating so that I can be enlightened for the benefit of all beings, blah blah blah, whatever, you know.
Yep.
But it's not actually like I don't think that that's ever been like total. I wouldn't say ever totally honest, but the feeling is that it's like rote. It's just ritual. It's
Yeah.
just going through a process, and it's not a true examination, an honest sort of sitting with like why am I doing this right now?
Yeah.
And so that's why it stood out to me. And he said it was like absolutely critical, and that when he started going into the scope of practice, right, the lam-rim sort of scope, the small scale, the self, the sorry, the just like the lesser scope where you want to have just like a good life and things to be okay and have
Yeah.
a good job and
Be a nice person.
be a good
Yeah.
person and have a good rebirth and all of that. Like if that's where you're at and that's the scope of your practice and what you're trying to do, don't be ashamed of that, right?
Yeah.
Like
Right.
that's good. That's good motivation.
Yeah. For sure.
Right? So
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah. And so he was just like, it doesn't matter what it is, it's your meditation, it's you, right? You can tell everybody he was like, you can set your intention for anything you want, right? That's up to
Mhm.
you. And so then, and I really love the honesty there. And I just want to take a little sidetrack here and
Mm.
tell you how that that little comment of his helped me a lot. So I've struggled for a long time with creating structure around my days, around like
Mhm.
my activities in the days. I've resisted it, and even though I know, creating lists and to-dos and organizing before the day, like setting my intention ahead of the day is important. I've never, like, I just won't do it. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter how good the advice is, I won't do it. But then I remembered as Lama was talking, I remember him one time saying, hey, have a notebook right next to you while you're meditating so that if thoughts come up about what you need to be doing, you could
Put it down.
just jot them down so you don't keep thinking about them. And I thought, well, maybe these two things can go hand in hand. So I sat down for the very first, the day after, sat down for a meditation, and I was like, okay, I am honestly I'm just meditating to like calm my mind and get some clarity around the day, and that's it. And to make notes of anything that I think needs to happen. Super small scope.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Tiny, tiny scope. And
Yeah.
oh my gosh, it was so beneficial. Talk about increased capacity. being able to do that one tiny little thing. I know it's only been a couple days, but already that has made a dramatic change in the way that my days play out. Just yesterday and today.
Yeah, yeah.
So I was really happy that he mentioned that you shouldn't be, that you set your intention and it can be anything you want. It's up to you.
Yeah, yeah. I really like that. And yeah, the honesty of like that that's just what I'm doing today. And it doesn't have to be more than that. And if there is an element of like, I know it might be helpful to others, if
Yeah.
yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
But that it doesn't have to be, is
I
really relieving.
It was, I'm not joking, it's such it actually, I think, was really helpful to even like to help me get back into that, to stay with the regularity is like,
Yeah.
no, it's yours, it's mine. I get to do it, I get to structure it however I want and do it for whatever reason I want. And what I thought was really cool is that upon examining my intentions, I realized that these things, like so many other things in Buddhism, are all totally like stacked and related, right? And that actually, part of the reason why I want to be able to clearly, set my to-do list for the day and all of that is so that I can have greater capacity, so that I can, help more people and do more, right?
Yeah.
And so I can see how they're all sort of related, but it was really nice not to go in there with the assumption that I was like, yeah, of course, I'm doing this because I'm a Buddhist and I'm going to become a Buddha. I'm a Bodhisattva, blah, 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 whatever. Whatever that weird scripts that run in our heads, right? Like the
Mhm.
assumptions and stuff. It was really nice to like cut through that and just be like, no, this is what I'm up to. This is what I'm doing.
That is really nice. Yeah. Well, and just to backtrack a little bit, because I feel like the what you mentioned about if you're not aware of the intention of your intention, that it can become corrosive. And yeah, I'm just, kind of tracking that for myself. Like, when has my meditation practice felt like draining rather than, restorative and energizing? And or that it just kind of feels like a task I have to get done. Um, and yeah, that's probably on days where I just need to like be really honest about this might be a small scope day.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
cool.
Dude,
Yeah.
what if the answer to the quote, what if you say to yourself, one day, my intention is really just to feel good.
Yeah.
I just want to feel good.
Yeah.
Wouldn't
Yeah.
that be nice? Like to
Yeah.
not have some kind of like, there's nothing, you're not examining, impermanence,
Right.
none of that. You just want to feel good. And what I love about it is that, classic sort of traditional teachers, of course, emphasize bodhicitta as the highest and best, motivation and
Yeah.
intention. And of course, we're working towards that. And Lama would, of course, say the same thing. But what I liked about it is he softens it up and he says, like, no, it's up to you. It's your practice. Do do what is best for you. I'm not going to tell you how to do your practice, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. Very cool. Yeah. And then
So yeah, so he talked about the various sort of the lesser scope, the middle scope, the whole lam-rim, right? And
mm,
about where we kind of fit into all of this. And what I really enjoyed about it was how he was like, so if you're going to practice for small scope, just doing like 6 minutes or 10 minutes a day is fine. That's good. Like it'll work. It'll help. And then
mm-hmm.
he's like, but if you start expanding your scope, you want to go to like middle, you want to go to like personal liberation, the middle scope, then you're gonna have to put more effort into it,
Yeah.
And he was like, there for personal liberation, or for self-liberation, you simply have to do a lot of practice. You got to just
Mhm.
do it and a lot of it, right? And it'll work. But then when he went then, and I loved it when he went into the great scope, he was like, oh, when it gets to the great scope, it isn't just that you never get a break. You're always, always, always on, right? And
Yeah.
that you're actually like going out of your way. You're eager to be inconvenienced, right? And
Hmm.
no time off, and you're just like hunting, like, ooh, is that person gonna make me move, or are they gonna, irritate me somehow? Because you want it, right? You actually like really, really want that for your practice.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, okay, if that's what large scope is, I don't think I'm there yet. But it is nice to contemplate.
It is. Yeah. Well, and I think there are, like, I would imagine that you've had days where maybe you did feel like that was
Yes.
possible,
Yes,
right? And
of
so
course.
maybe not, it's maybe not 24/7 right now, but there's moments, there's days where it's like, yeah, I do feel
Oh yeah.
on.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like whatever comes my way, I'm going to handle it in, a positive way. I'm going to be kind, compassionate, all the things. Um, yeah, and I love that about the, looking for being inconvenienced.
Right?
Because it's so easy just to fall into anger, right? I'm thinking about my commute where it's like, come on, man, like you're driving 45 in the 50, 55, just like the little things, right? But I do notice on those days where I'm feeling a little more expansive. There's just a sense of, oh, this person, yeah, this guy,
Yeah.
just chilling, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
Um,
I do remember though, so it made me think of a conversation I had with my brother who was quoting my brother had quoted this author, I forget who it was. I can't quite remember, but the quote was, "You love as well as you are willing to be inconvenienced." You love as well as you are willing to be inconvenienced. And I think that's exactly what Lama was saying,
yeah,
right? And
yeah,
that, yeah, when you really sit with that and you think about it, it turns out to be true.
yeah, for
You're
sure.
right. So not just
Yeah.
in the case, so on the one hand, if we're loving people, we're willing to be inconvenienced. If we're bodhisattvas or, aspiring to the great scope of practice, we aren't just willing, we're like
Want
wanting
to.
it. We're seeking it out, like make me feel inconvenienced. Trungpa
Mhm.
talked about that quite a lot, right? He even said, Trungpa, I remember reading, he said that we should even like wear ill-fitting clothes and stuff.
Why?
Right. He's like not all the time, but like you have to be willing to be uncomfortable. Like put yourself
Yeah,
into uncomfortable situations.
yeah,
Right. So wearing some kind of clothing or whatever that's uncomfortable, just try it. Just do it. Go
yeah,
out there and experience that.
for sure, for sure. Yeah, I do think that in my job I get to have a lot of practice with that. Um, and it's allowed me in a professional space to be comfortable with discomfort. But it's taking it out into like my non-professionalized role,
Yeah.
and being willing to be uncomfortable there. I'm it's it's improving. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
you're able to have a bigger, you know, reservoir um
Yeah.
of
A bigger
maybe,
reservoir, greater
yeah,
capacity,
greater
right?
capacity.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, it definitely has taken many years, right? To get to a place where it's like, okay, yeah, I can, um, I don't like today. I was just, yeah, I had several things that I was trying to get done during my lunch hour just because I was moving fast. I wanted to be able to get home and get stuff done before, our show tonight. Um, and at the grocery store, there was this little old lady who seemed to be having some trouble with her cart. And for a second, it flashed in front of me like, just go get gas. Like just go get gas. You're not going to have time, when you leave work today. But I was like, wait a minute. If I'm not willing to do this for this little old lady, like am I going to be willing to do it for someone that I'm not feeling quite as, kind about, right? And so it's just like, okay, spend a couple of minutes helping this person get what she needs, right? And yeah, and I don't get gas, right?
Yeah.
That's okay.
And it
And it
was
was.
fine. It worked out okay.
It worked out fine. And
Right.
actually it felt better, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I like that. Being willing to be inconvenienced and it's a practice.
Right. And I think that in some sense, I've heard it said that like the lion's roar, I mean, is essentially an expression that everything is workable, right?
Mm.
And so that I
Mm.
take that to mean partially that that in that situation, right? Like you think, oh, there's time constraints, and like if I don't do this, I'm gonna need gas, and you have sort of like a structure in your head about how it's all gonna play out and how much time is associated with each one of the tasks and stuff. And so there's like inflexibility there, right? Like, if I
Mhm.
don't get gas, then I'm not then this and then this and then this and then, right? But that I take it that the workable part of it is like some flexibility around that,
Yeah,
right? And seeing
yeah,
like it's not so, it doesn't have, just because I said it that way in my head doesn't mean that that's really how it is.
yeah,
I can help her. And you know what? Instead of getting a full tank of gas, because that might take me 5 minutes, I'll just put 1 gallon in because
yeah,
that'll get me to my, because like
right.
whatever, I'll work it out
It's
some
workable.
way. I can make it
Yeah,
right.
right. There is such a freedom in that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And look at your case, like what you just said, right? Like it all worked out just fine,
yeah.
right? I had that exact same experience. I was telling you about all this administrative work, right? And it was like this was this was yesterday. I was like I didn't know if I was going to get it done, and in the meantime, somebody needed like some serious help, and they didn't have anybody. They came to me, and I was like. I had already tried to tell them like, oh, set boundaries and everything, but like I knew that they didn't have anybody else, right? And
Yeah,
it was like it wasn't life and death, but it was like hunger versus not, like they weren't gonna eat and it was gonna be bad.
yeah, yeah,
So I was like, I committed. I just said yes, just like you. I was just like, I have all this shit on my plate. I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna say yes. I
yeah.
checked my own boundaries and everything and was willing to do it. And it turned out that it all worked out. Not only did I get all the administrative stuff done and the work stuff done and the family life stuff and the household stuff done, but I also was able to help somebody else, right?
Wow.
And so, and that's exactly it. When we talk about increasing capacity, that's what we're talking about is we gain some flexibility. We gain some ability to discriminate about and prioritize and to like also gives even some time to check our heart space, and like check in and be like, yeah, what, am I motivated to do that? What is my intention here? All of that.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, it feels good. It
Yeah.
feels like because on days where I'm just tired and feeling kind of like just bitter, like I don't want to do
Yeah.
any of this,
Yeah.
I'm just having
Yeah.
a bad day. I just want to go home. It's like time really speeds up in a way, right? And where it's like I
Oh
just have
yeah.
no time in the
Oh,
day and I'm just exhausted. Whereas, on those expansive days, it's like, what happens,
right.
Like it's not like there's more hours in the day, but you just are able to do it. It's
Dude,
weird.
you just like hit on something that I think is really important. And you did a great job of describing it because that experience right there that you're talking about is one that blows me away sometimes, where I'm
Yeah.
like, it feels like a week worth of experience here in like one day,
Yeah.
right? But it's all contained just in one little day.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that. I was looking at, the Walk for Peace, the monks walking for peace.
Yes, I
Right?
just saw that today. Yeah.
Okay, so they're all up in all every new, whatever. The algorithm knows I'm Buddhist, so it's like shoving all of this in everywhere I go. And of course, I'm encouraging it because I'm like, yeah, I do actually want to see that, right?
Yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
thinking about it today. I thought, like, it's so weird. Like, I'm seeing pictures and videos of these guys every single day and multiples from a single day, and they are walking, they are talking, they are meeting with people, they're doing all kinds of stuff. Their days are just like jam-packed, right?
Yeah.
Full of all kinds of stuff. That's because they have great capacity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. And a lot of friends
And a
too.
lot of
Part of
friends, right?
it.
But we don't want to do it alone. Come on,
Yeah.
don't even think that you want to do it alone.
Right.
Like, first of all, doing it alone, probably not successful, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
But also, that's lame,
Yeah.
right?
It's not as fun.
Right?
Yeah.
What did Buddha himself say about the holy life and friendship?
It's all friendship.
It's
It's
all
all
100%
about friendship.
all about it. It's a friendship
Yeah.
model.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Friendship, remembering.
Renunciation.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yes, friendship and remembering, those are the good ones.
Yeah, yeah. So get us to the high scope, highest scope.
The
Um yeah,
highest.
tell us more about what
Oh my God. Okay.
Lama shared that, you're never off.
Well, there is actually one of the points that he made. This was not related to Great Scope. This was more about self-liberation. But he said, uh, sort of at the end, one of the promises of good, intensive, regular practice is that you get to this stage called no effort, right? Where it's so in you that it just
Mhm.
happens naturally, and you don't have to put a lot of effort into it. And then he said uh, it takes a lot of right effort to get to no effort,
Yeah.
right? Like you have to do the work. You got to really actually get after it and do the work if you want to get the results. So
Yep.
again, be honest about your intentions because you will then set your time and your commitments and everything accordingly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that, as far as the large scope goes, right? The basic idea being that we so badly, not only do we think it would be nice to be liberated ourselves, but we think it would be really nice if everyone else was too, right? Because then, like it would suck to kind of be free yourself, but everybody else is still all caged up in some sorrow.
Yeah.
That would
Yeah.
how could you be really happy then, right?
For
So,
sure.
so yeah, so then the idea that not only that it would be nice if it were that way, but that we wish it to be that way. And then
Yeah.
not only do we wish it to be that way, but we wish for us to be the cause of it becoming that way,
Mm.
right? And so then we're like, well, how am I going to be a cause for other people's liberation, right? The same way that we are being liberated, which is through the Buddha's teachings, right? By being,
Right.
yeah, we're carrying out Buddha activity, Buddha work, right? By
Right.
becoming Buddhas ourselves, right?
Yeah.
And this activity will lead to that, and then as a result of that, our intentions will be, our motivation will be realized, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
We're
I
part of
think
that lineage. Yeah.
we're part of that lineage, and we get to engage in the Buddha's works ourselves. But one of the things that stood out to me, we just touched on it, but it was something that Lama himself mentioned. Again, we're not doing it alone. None of the scopes do we have to do alone. And for anyone who's a student of Lama Jinpa's, the advice was ask him for help,
Mm.
right? Like ask for help along the way.
Yeah.
Don't assume that you know, um,
Right.
and you'll get it. So,
Yeah, I need to do that more. I need to just text him, right?
yeah,
Because
yeah,
I'm up here and I'm not, physically close. I can't,
yeah.
I'm not doing as much practice and I'm not in the temple. And so I need more connection. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
ask
I
for
agree with
help.
you. I
Good.
think you should text him more. You should call him more. He told me one time when I said, "Well, I don't want to bother you," and he goes, I'm responsible for my time,
Right.
what I do. Like, if
Right.
I feel like if you're bothering me, I'll just tell you that you're bothering me.
Yeah.
But until I do, you should do what you need to do, right?
Right.
So ask for help if you need it.
That's
You know,
such a good reminder. Yeah.
the other thing that he had said about self-liberation and Buddhahood was something that we've talked about quite a lot, but he is like, it's not the personal self who's ever going to get liberated.
Yeah.
So like the whole spiritual materialism, you're going to get something out of this. You're practicing so that you can experience Buddhahood, so you can
Right.
have enlightenment yourself, right? Like you're going to hold on to it. You're going to put it in your little digital wallet or something, right?
Uh-huh.
Own it forever and ever. Like it doesn't work that way, right? It's not the personal self that's liberated, but that basically the whole path, the purpose of all of this practice is to get the personal self out of the way so that our Buddha nature can shine, right? Like
Hmm.
it's there ready to, to do what it does, but unfortunately we have some blockages, some things in the way. And that's what the practice is all about, is to remove all of that stuff that blocks our own innate nature.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it'll feel really good to get to the point where I'd actually want to be cycling through cyclic existence, to help others. And not, I know it's not as the personal self, but when I do, like this morning in preparation for our conversation, I was really kind of, trying to, throughout my meditation, like, where am I at? What's my scope right now? And it came up, there was a little bit of like, whoa, like Buddhahood, or, like aiming to liberate everyone. That's like, and we've talked about that too, where it's like, that's a lot. But that reminder that, like, well, it's not, it wouldn't be Jack doing that, it's the Buddha nature that's going to be revealed, through the training, through future lives, karma.
Right.
Um,
And not
and
only that, but along the way through all those incarnations, if you keep practicing in this sort of way, setting your intentions and you're walking this path, just remember that all of that effort is joyful. So you can
yeah,
look, like if you're doing this, like right at the outset of the when we were looking at the Lojong slogan, right? That
yeah,
it's about joyful effort, right? It's
yeah, for
about really
sure.
like, and that whatever our next incarnations are up to, if we're doing this and we can kind of set this trajectory for ourselves,
Yeah.
uh, that will be a joyful experience.
Right. Yeah, I remember reading, oh gosh, I wish I could remember which book this was, but it was about like the kind of bodhisattva levels, and like or the boomies, I think.
Oh yeah, yeah,
And there was something about like how when you feel discouraged and you're feeling like, I can't do this, this like is too much, is to remind yourself that, like, well, on a certain boomy, you're actually not going to feel pain or like mental pain anymore. You're just gonna be like really into what you're doing,
yeah.
and this whole liberation thing. So, just kind of, those are helpful reminders. Yeah, it's
How
like,
cool would that be,
that'd be
right?
awesome.
It's not a
I
slog. You're
love
not
that.
like gritting your teeth and just like suck it up and make it
Yeah,
happen. Like, no,
yeah.
like you're fine actually.
It's
And
like
you're
whatever comes, it's,
yeah,
yeah, I can do this. Yeah.
we got this.
Nice.
We got this.
Yes. This has been a great conversation. I feel like I've learned a lot, and it's just so nice to hear Lama's words
Yeah.
through you. I really appreciate your
Well,
notes, and
I any I the classic. I just got to say,
yeah,
any mistakes in conveying this information are mine. Certainly not our teachers. And so if I did misrepresent something or miss something, which I no doubt did, that's my fault. You can blame me.
thank you for that reminder. Yes, yes. Thank you, everybody. It's been so wonderful to be here. Thank you, Daniel, again for taking all these notes. And if you can make a donation, lionsroardharmacenter.org, it really helps us keep providing this programming for liberation.
That's right. That's right. And
Yeah,
maybe even get our Zoom sessions back in order.
that would be great, please.
Let's set our intention to make sure that
Yeah,
Zoom is working. Hopefully before Jado Rinpoche gets here.
please. Yes.
Are you
Yeah.
gonna
Okay.
be are you gonna be here though for Jado Rinpoche, right?
I'm not going to be in person.
Oh,
No.
okay. Then please, 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 please.
Yeah.
We're putting it out there. We want to use all of our power. Please make the Zoom stuff work so that Jack can attend the teachings with Jado Rinpoche.
Please, Omahang.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.